Yeah. I love my HBCU. And boy, I love it, love it. I love it, love it. I love my HBCU. And man, I hope my team they won one. I hope my team they won one. Yeah, man. I hope my team they won one. I hope my team they won one. I tune into the HBCU Sports Lab to see if my team won or lost. If they lost, I'm quiet as a mouse. But if they won, keep tab. I'ma do the dab, yeah. Dr. Cavil, he know what he be talking about. Mike and Charles, they know what they be talking about. They compress the analytic data with the hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they won or lost, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
This is Dr. Cavil inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Welcome to episode 735 of Inside the HBCU Sports Lab radio show and podcast, the show that's covering the sporting HBCU diaspora, all things HBCU sports for institutions large and small. From NEIA to the NCAA, we share insights and information on the HBCU sports culture, HBCU athletic aesthetics to facilitate the story of HBCU athletic programs and the business of HBCU sports. In short, we just call it HBCU sports pedagogy. I'm your host, Dr. Kenyatta Cavil, along with my co-host, Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. We also have Wilton Jackson II and A.D. Drew. We're filming from our home studios and a signal live to KSWH 1230 AM studios with the Texas Radio Hall of Famer, multi-Hall of Fame, that is, Ralph Cooper, in the beautiful home of Texas Southern University from Houston, Texas. With that being said, let's bring everybody on board. As we bring in everybody on board, I know this is not one of the big voting turns it is, but it is a voting November 4th, Tuesday. So for those, again, that are out there, if you hadn't got to it and you still have time, you in those locations, go ahead and make sure you get out there and vote. Get your vote in, make sure you're representative and have your opportunity to say your piece in terms of electing officials that represent your interests or as close to your interests as possible. With that being said, let me get into it and let me ask Charles, how are you doing today? I saw some pictures that you put in some work as you maybe going a little extra duty covering volleyball. I guess it wasn't really covering volleyball, but having your students on a unique class that you're working on for your dissertation do some work in terms of the sports education model from a different perspective. Pretty good work, saw those pictures. Should say pretty good, actually great to see those pictures. And it seems like y'all might have brought a little bit of extra mojo to the Lady Tigers out there as they got it done after falling down 0-2. They rallied to get the last three and take the match in terms of really tremendous fashion. So shout out to you. How are you doing today?
Doing well, Doc. Like you mentioned, it was a fun time out there at the HPE last night for the final home contest for Texas Southern Lady Tiger volleyball team. And like you said, down 2 sets, but then stormed back and came back to beat Southern. But it was a great opportunity for Dr. Swan Dixon's class to get out there and get hands-on experience. So I was very appreciative of for all his hard work and in terms of turning out the class and making sure that they were able to get out there and get some hands-on experience with game operations.
As we give a little shout out to the women's sports, you also have the SWAC tournament going on this week, which means we have a regular season champion. Speaking of that, Jackson State women's a crowned regular season champion as they are the number 1 seed getting into business as we kind of close out on the volleyball season. It's time to get into tournament play for women's soccer where the top 8 teams go, and they'll be in Prairie View for the soccer matchup. So it'll be fascinating. Wish all those teams luck as they move forward. It'll be interesting to see who can shake it down and get it done, who will come out as champions. Last year, tournament champions was Southern. This year, going in to determine, as we said, number 1 seed is Jackson State. I get a chance to share a little bit more about that. But as we get into it, let me see what Big Mike, how he's doing today.
Oh, I'm doing just fine, Doc. It's Tuesday after a big week of football. down to one or two games left in some of the mid majors, and we'll talk about that. But other than that, I'm doing just fine.
I think I'm gonna pick on you a little bit. I left Charles alone, but sounds like you down, like your Cowboys didn't do too well last night. Notice I said yours.
Yeah, yeah, I noticed you said yours. You done gave them up, but some people try to still hang on with a little drawstring or whatever. I don't know why.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Good stuff. Wilton, how you doing today, my brother?
I'm doing good, Doc. It's another good week of football coming up. I know Drew's probably over there itching to talk about everything that's about to happen in the CIAA, which it is a lot to consider coming up into this week. So I'm excited to get into some of those games later on.
Yeah, you're right. The CIAA takes front stage again. Back weeks as it goes down, as they look to see who will be in the following week, who will be in the CIAA football championship game. Similar, at least one side of the equation is finished in the SIAC, but still some thoughts, however so slightly, in terms of who will be a Albany State Golden Rams opponent in the SIAC championship game. AD Drew in the last segment will break down some of those tiebreaker scenarios and get into the deep end of that. But while I'm saying that, AD Drew, how are you doing today?
I'm doing fine. And Dr. Cavil, you opened up with volleyball, and I got to do something last night that I probably haven't done in, probably 10 years. I actually got an opportunity to do PA at a volleyball match yesterday, a collegiate volleyball match. It was an emergency situation. I'll go ahead and say it. My counterparts next door called, even though it was rival week. They needed some help. My PA guy could not do it. I said, well, hell, I'll come over there and do it. And I actually enjoyed myself despite being in enemy territory doing it. But having not done PA for volleyball in almost a decade, I had to figure out my style and what I was going to say and how to, when to get loud, when not to get loud. And, I was kind of like, I can't believe I'm actually getting loud for the people who I got to play Saturday in football, but got to get their paycheck too.
Did you catch the kill? Did you catch the kill?
I like it.
No, I did not get the kill. I got the kill.
Oh, nice. Nice little touch there.
That's what it is.
I believe Mike will approve of that. With that, Charles, let me go to you and let's get into some of this news of the day. What do you got going on? What's on your mind?
Yeah, let's take a look at the SIAC weekly honors as they honored 4 players this past week for their impressive performances. Denham Johnson from Kentucky State, Dylan Purry from Central State, Damon Griffin II from Central State, and Xavier Jackson from Clark were all recognized. Let's take a look at the offensive player of the week. It was Denham Johnson from Kentucky State, the quarterback, the junior from Humble, Texas. Big Ben award candidate here, Doc. But Johnson delivered a record-setting performance in the Thoroughbreds win over Clark, Atlanta, posting 393 yards, the second highest single-game total in the SIAC this season. Completed 16 of 21 passes with 5 touchdowns, showcasing exceptional efficiency and command of the offense in one of the league's top passing performances of the year. Defensive player of the week was Dylan Purry from Central State. Defensive back from Detroit. He capped off the Marauders season with a game-changing performance that spoiled Edward Waters' homecoming in the 21-17 victory. Purry showcased elite playmaking ability and ball hawking instincts, recording 3 interceptions, including 2 in the crucial second half drive and adding 2 tackles to lead the defensive effort. And we take a look at it. The special teams player of the week was Damon Griffin II from Central State. Griffin delivered an electrifying performance on special teams, sparking the Marauders' momentum in the 21-17 victory over Edward Waters. Griffin tallied 4 kickoff returns for 216 yards, highlighted by a 92-yard touchdown return that shifted the game's momentum. And the newcomer of the week is Xavier Jackson of Clark, Atlanta, the freshman quarterback from Tampa, had a career performance in the Panthers meeting with Kentucky State last week. He completed 32 of 49 passes for 425 yards and 4 touchdowns, both personal best this season. So shout out to all the SIAC players of the week.
Congratulations to the SIAC Players of the Week, and a special nod to the Big Ben candidate that Charles did a shout out to. I like that. I appreciate that.
C.E. King High School in Humble, Texas.
Big time. Play some good football out in that way. Got out all out.
Yes, they do.
Good stuff. Congratulations. Let me go to you, Wilton, in terms of your thoughts.
So I'm going to get into some of the CIAA players of the week. We're going to start with the quarterback of the week, Rashawn Matthews Jr. from Virginia State. The junior completed 24 of 31 passes for 291 yards and 4 touchdowns, while also leading the Trojans on the ground with 67 rushing yards and on 8 attempts. We also have offensive receiver of the week, Jalen Pretlow from Virginia State. A week after being held without a touchdown, Jalen Pretlow responded with one of the most efficient scoring performances of the year, catching 5 passes for 80 yards and 3 touchdowns in VSU's win over Lincoln, PA. Offensive back of the week comes as someone that we've been hearing all season, Curtis Allen, Virginia Union. Allen delivered the greatest rushing game in Virginia Union history and one of the most dominant in the nation with 369 rushing yards and 5 touchdowns on 26 carries. His total shattered the previous school record of 319 set in 2022 and ranked among the top 5 rushing performances in all NCAA divisions this season, FBS, FCS, Division II, and Division III. Standout performance from Curtis Allen. We get into a linebacker of the week, Matthew Leach from Fayetteville State. The Fayetteville State senior delivered one of the most complete defensive efforts of the year, recording a game-high 12 tackles, 6 solo, with 0.5 tackles for a loss and multiple drive-ending stops that kept the Broncos within striking distance. Leach helped hold Johnson C. Smith, the CIAA's number 2 scoring offense, to just 10 points through 3 quarters and was a key in limiting Bobby Smith and Kelvin Durham to their lowest rushing totals in conference play this season. Then we get into one of the special teams players of the week, also comes from Virginia Union, Brady Myers. Virginia Union's record-setting afternoon included a perfect outing from Myers, who went 10 for 10 on PAT attempts, the most in a single game in school history. Myers is now 55 for 55 on extra points this season, the only kicker in Division II with 50-plus attempts and 100% conversion rate.
Man, shout out to the CIAA and the Players of the Week, particularly Virginia Union, Dr. Parker. I mean, where are you going? What are you feeding these guys? Something. Obviously, he has an eye for talent, both in terms of the running backs and the offensive line, because that's just ridiculous.
Is he trying to feed them gumbo?
He got to be feeding
Low country ball out there.
Low country ball, Virginia, crab soup. I don't know what they doing, but it's your
they get it all.
Whatever it is, you don't need to stop. I need some of it to be getting it down like that. Let me go to you, 80. What's on your mind?
Well, for me, it's football playoff time, super regional time. The first actual regional rankings came out on yesterday. What you saw last week, if you were paying attention, was just the regional contenders. So now we actually have them ranked 1 through 10. And we'll start off in Super Region 1, where we have 3 CIAA teams ranked in the top 10. Nice. The number 1 team in that super region is Kutztown, who's 9-0. And remember, these records that I give are Division 2 records. Okay, so they're 9-0. The number 2 team is Virginia Union with the 8-1 Division 2 record and division in region record. The number 3 team is Johnson C. Smith, also at 8-1 overall in Division 2 and in region. And bringing up the rear at number 9 is Fayetteville State, who is 5-3 and 5-3. So that takes care of Super Region 1. So we've got 2 that are solidly in, with a third one needing some things to go right over the next couple of weeks. The one thing that hurts Fayetteville State is they will not play an 11th game. So that will definitely hurt them. Now, let's move over to Super Region 2, where the SIAC sits at. West Florida leads that region with a 9-0 record, 9-0 overall, 7-0 in region. Albany State comes in at number 2, 8-0 record, 8-0 in region. Benedict comes in at number 3, 7-1 and 7-1. And coming in at number 6 is Kentucky State with a 7-1 Division II record, 6-1 in region. So right now, if you're looking at Super Region 2, you've got 2 that are solidly in, and one team, as long as they take care of business, that being Kentucky State, will get in. So there you go. Top 8 make it in both regions this year. That's up. It used to be 7. They are taking all 8 now. So the number 1 no longer gets a bye.
Good stuff. Great update. Good report. Hate to see Ellen Waters go down. At least would have been interesting just to see how much love they may have gotten. With that, Mike, any final thoughts you want to provide on this segment before we take our first break?
No, well, I'll see you on the other side of the break. I'm interested to talk a little bit more about this Division II stuff. I'd like to hear Drew's breakdown because I had some questions about that breakdown about if who wins, if who beats this person, because it's some interesting twist if I understand it correctly. So.
Good stuff. Perfectly. Let's get into our top 7 on the other side, and that'll give Mike a chance to talk a little bit about that. We can see if there are any mid-major folks that need to get on the ledge, how many need to become familiar with the basketball since things kicked off yesterday, early tip-offs, promoted today.
Division II's got another week.
I share that with you. That's just his thing this time of the year.
I got Jackson State people texting me since it's mid-major day. They wanted to talk FAMU mid-major.
He could not get out the first segment. He could not do it. We got that close. He could not get out the segment. We tried. Drew, I tried. He couldn't. He found a way to get it.
We need a mandatory 8 count on that one.
Oh man.
We're gonna take our first break and come back on the other side and get into
I'm
some
putting the red flag on the play. Red flag. We gotta review that.
So we are going back to football business. Let's take our first break and come back on the other side. This is the Dean of the College of HBCU Sports, Kenyatta. This is the Dean of the College of HBCU Sports, Kenyatta Cavil of Dr. Cavil's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Come mix it up in the lab where the course lecture is in session every Tuesday from 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time on Facebook Live, YouTube Spreaker, or the BCSN app. As we discuss all things about the HBCU sports culture, including exploring the week that was in the sporting HBCU diaspora, as well as the upcoming week of HBCU sports. With me, the Dean, the College of HBCU Sports, on Dr. Cavil's Inside HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Course lecture dismissed.
It's never too early to plant the seed, to share the tradition, and instill a sense of pride in your HBCU with your little ones. HBCU Pride and Joy Children's Boutique helps you share your school spirit with a wide selection of adorable kids apparel and accessories officially licensed from your favorite HBCU. Visit hbcupridejoy.com and follow us on all social media at HBCU Pride Joy on Facebook and Twitter.
For over 30 years, HBCU Image has been more than just an apparel store. We've been a movement, a statement, a legacy. We celebrate the pride, the purpose, and the culture that make historically black colleges and universities legendary. Whether you're a student or a lifelong supporter, our gear lets you wear your HBCU story with confidence and style. Because when you wear HBCU Image, you're not just wearing clothes. You're wearing culture. You're wearing pride. You're wearing purpose. HBCU.
College football fans, the Cricket Celebration Bowl is celebrating 10 years of crowning an HBCU national champion. A champion will rise at Mercedes-Benz Stadium on December 13th as the MEAC and SWAC champions clash in Atlanta. Join us for championship football, interactive fan experiences, and iconic marching bands. It's an HBCU family reunion that you don't want to miss. See who will be crowned the next HBCU national champion. For event and ticket information, visit thecelebrationbowl.com.
Compress the analytic data with your hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they wanna lose, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
This is Dr. Cavil with Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Let's go ahead and bring up our top 7. As we're bringing it up, we're going to talk about the Big Ben Award. I want to get a little bit of the fact that Charles shared some love in terms of the HBCU award perspective. During the first decade of the SWAC creation in 1920, from 1925 to 1929, Big Ben distinguished himself collegiately, academically, fraternally, as a member of the Wiley College team, as the SWAC All-American champion and Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity member. Pledgee in 1925. You could use that term, Mike, at that time. Initiated in 1926. Yeah, it took a little time back then, while compiling championship stories, records, and national honors as an HBCU grid-eyed legend. As a fullback member of the Wildcat 11, he excelled outside the Eurocentric framing of the American football collegiate context of that era. Mike, what were you going to add to that?
Oh, I was just agreeing with you. Yeah, you could say that back then.
Just a little bit.
Yes.
Watch him laugh out with soap. Now, let's get in the top 7 last week before we see the next 7, what the new top 7 will unveil for today. But last week, as we get in these scores in this segment, at number 7, you have Edward Waters Tigers, 5-3, 4-2. You had number 6, Fayetteville State, 5-3, 5-0 going into that week. Kentucky State Thoroughbreds were 6-2, 5-1. Benedict Tigers stood at 7-1, 6-1, while Johnson C. Smith Golden Bulls was 7-1 and 4-1. By now, you know that matchup between Johnson C. Smith, Fayetteville State. It was a good one. Johnson C. Smith got it done this time. And number 2 last week was Virginia Union Panthers sitting at 7-1, 5-0, and Albany State Rams got their first bid at being number 1 as the previous week Benedict fell in their matchup against Albany State. And Albany State climbed all the way to number 1. We'll see if they remain there this weekend. But with that being said, let's do that and just get into some of these scores as we look at the scores during week 8 this past weekend. Let's start with that number 1 team. In terms of their score, they defeated Savannah State closer than a lot of people thought. They defeated Savannah State 21-18. So number 1 got it done as they improved to 8-1, 7-0. The Tigers of Savannah State fall to 4-5, 3-4 in terms of their matchup. Let's move on to number 2. Number 2 also played, and we heard superlatives in terms of the running back. Shouldn't surprise you. Put up 300 yards, your team may put up 70 points. They defeat Bluefield State 70-14 was the final score there. With that, the Panthers improved to 8-1, 6-0 in terms of conference play, while the Big Blue fall to 3-6 overall and 2-4 in terms of what they did in conference play. As we continue to move forward, let's look at number 3. The Golden Rams held that number 3 ranking and defeated Fayetteville State. Finally got it done. Shout out to the Golden Bulls going in there with a lot of heavy expectations. 8-1, 5-1, 17-14. So it was a close one. They had to come from behind, as Wilton was reminding us, thinking early, with Golden Bulls going Golden Bulls. No, they decided they were going to have their horns up and do the Broncos the way they did. Is number 6 falls to 5-4 and 5-1. Shout out to the Golden Bulls. A lot of emotions in that matchup, and you certainly can see why. With that being said, let's go to number 4. Number 4 last week was the Bethune-Cookman. Was the Benedict Tigers as they defeat Virginia and Lynchburg, the Dragons. They improved to 8-1, 6-1, 42-10 as the Dragons fall to 3-2, 3-1. close at part of that game, but kind of got it done there anyway. Moving to number 5, Kentucky State continues to surprise everybody. They make a statement. They improved to 7-2 and 6-1, put themselves in a really solid position. Things got to kind of go their way, but they certainly are looking at a playoff bid as they defeat Clark Atlanta 43-28. The Panthers fall to 2-7, 1-6 on the season, coming crashing down after really having a great season playing for it. SIAC championship. That will not be the case this year. So I guess they actually did eat a little bit of the rat poison during the season, maybe ate it too much because it's not working out for the Panthers. But I'm sure they'll be back. We'll talk about that in the spring football season. With that, we also had number 6 was we talked about Fayetteville State. So we're going to move to number 7, which is Edward Waters. They fall to Central State Marauders. They get it done, improving to 3-7, 3-5, as the Tigers fall to 5-4 and 4-3. 21-17 was the score of that contest. That being said, gentlemen, let me start with you, Wilton. Anything surprise you this week in terms of the matchups? I think I know where you're going, but I'll give you first deal.
I think again the game I had on my radar was obviously the Johnson C. Smith Fayetteville State game, and I wanted to make sure that they were going to actually get the win because, like I said on the last show this time last week, this was a game that they were shut out, and this is the same spot that Johnson C. Smith had been in exactly a year ago, and they couldn't get the job done. And so I was one to say that could Coach Flowers really get his guys to buy in and really get through these next couple of weeks of the season? And this game against Fayetteville State, they took care of business, albeit it was a very close game. And to your point, you kind of just mentioned that I thought they were about to give the game away, but they get the win and they still have a couple, big games to kind of get through the rest of the season. And I know when Drew gets to the last segment, he's going to kind of give out some of those implications of where things sit specifically in the CIAA and Johnson C. Smith's chances to really make an impact.
Good update there. I agree with you in terms of that matchup. That's one that everybody had their eye on. Top 7, Johnson C. Smith. A lot of us quietly fans that wanting to see Coach Favors get it done, but they get it. With that being said, let me go to your 80, Drew. Stick on the mid-major expertise for the minute right here. What was your big game that kind of stood out to you that had you thinking more than that?
Well, we'll start off with Cap Obvious. Two words: Curtis Allen.
Woo!
We've heard it all weekend. Nothing can be added to what has been said already. I said it Sunday. I'll say it again. I've heard of a 69. I've never heard of a 369. Not in football. And that's what Curtis Allen did. 369 yards on the ground, everybody. Number 2, Albany State. The performance with Albany State with Isaiah Knowles, we expected probably last week against Benedict, where he kind of where the team was not all that great, but this was not an opponent. But Savannah State's a tougher opponent than we've been giving them credit for. They have a really stout defense. It's just offensively they are challenged, just like Benedict was. But Savannah State did very well. Everybody else just taking care of business, putting themselves in the best position in order to get as high as they can in the regional rankings. We got potentially 3 teams in on the SIAC, two and a possible in the CIAA. Let's just see what these teams do under the microscope, under the bright lights, and in the pressure cooker.
Yep. Over the next 2 weeks, it gets really fascinating. I'm going to go to you, Mike. What are your thoughts in terms of the top 7? What stood out to you?
Well, the Johnson C. Smith game was the only game I thought, all right, there could be a potential upswing, could be maybe there was a hair's chance in upset. But the one that believe it or not, was this last game we just talked about, Savannah State and Albany. You mean to tell me that Albany beat Benedict 31-3, put Isaiah Knowles he was just running up the scoreboard. And then he only got 182. Savannah State, they had about 300-400 yards total offense. What happened? Was it a case of Albany State on the letdown, or is Savannah State really that good? Because they're 4-5, 3-4. They're not putting that many points up offensively if you look statistically. So that to me was a head scratcher. Yes, Albany State won, but that one to me was the outlier. I'm like, what happened with Albany State? They took care of business the week before, 31-3, and here they are now, 21-18. So that was a bit of a head scratcher. Was it a letdown, or was Savannah State really that good this weekend?
That's a good question, especially when you think about your fellow Georgia team. Obviously, I know the big game this weekend with Fort Valley State, but still fascinating when you put it that way. And I think that's an excellent question. Try to figure it out. We'll see maybe this weekend if things change. With that being said, let me go to you, Charles. First, in terms of the top 7, and then if you have anybody mid-major wise on the ledge.
Top 7, I think the closeness of the Albany State game, that was obviously the one that surprised me. With really Savannah State having an opportunity in the fourth quarter to get the W. But I was going to ask, with regards to that South Georgia area, is that a rivalry? I mean, I hear about Albany State and Fort Valley State, but I really never really associated, Savannah State being a rival there with Albany State.
It used to be a rivalry before
Savannah
State left and moved to the BIAC. So for people in our age bracket, Charles, it is considered a rivalry. Probably for people in Wilton's age bracket on down, it is not a rivalry because, for most of Wilton's life,
out of sight, out of mind. Yep.
So that it's reestablished, but geographically, you've got a lot of people in a lot of areas who've gone to both of these institutions or graduate their work together. So it is a quiet rivalry, and it's gonna reemerge as long as Savannah State is in that conference. And I give it another 5 years or so. It's going to be a big time rivalry. It won't be Fort Valley, Albany State, but it'll be that second tier.
No doubt. I guess as far as oh, go ahead, Mike.
Oh no, I was just saying I agree that it stratifies out because my father-in-law, my uncle living in that area for 2 years. That's all they talked about was Fort Valley, Albany State. Never really heard them talk about Savannah State. But maybe to a certain age group, that is a rivalry. Now all I know is kind of the 2 years I lived in that area and what those older folks would really cling to. So,
yeah,
great information, great question, Charles. For those that might not know, go ahead.
Yeah, well, I guess as far as team on the ledge, pretty disappointing loss with Edward Waters dropping that one. So dropping out of the top 7, and then probably. I don't know if it's so much a school, but I mean defensive backs on the ledge in the SIAC. I mean you got a receiver, 6 catches, 254 yards, 42-yard average. Then you got Armani Harris, 15 catches, 225 yards. I'm like, oh my god! So
he giving ledge and also helmet sticker at the same time. That's pretty nice. I ain't heard that one. Let's take our next break and come out on the other side and go ahead and get into the mid-major division top 7 and see what it looks like in week number 9.
You're looking for the latest information on Southern University sports, the Southwestern Athletic Conference, and HBCU athletics. There's only one place to go. Tune in to the Carlos Brown Show, exclusively on the Black College Sports Network.
Planning an event? From weddings to corporate functions, CMJ Events LLC brings over 15 years of experience to make your vision a reality. Based in Metro Atlanta and serving statewide, even internationally, we provide versatile
Compress the analytic data with your hip-hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they wanna lose, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gonna teach a lesson.
As we bring everybody back in and get it going, let's jump in the ranking week 9. We're gonna have this one as our outtake moments and get a couple of laughs in a couple of years when we see this and talk about what was happening. People driving the ship. Reminds me of that time when Roy came in and he fell asleep doing it. Oh, sorry, guys. I fell asleep. We heard the story back then. That being said, let's get back to work. Let's get into this top 10 rankings for week number 9 and see where we go from there. We do have a team dropping out this week. I think y'all teased it quite a bit, so won't be a surprise. So as we're pulling up, I'll go ahead and get into it. Dropping out this week was Edward Waters Tigers. They drop out as they fall to 5-4, I should say, and 4-3. I think it's really going to hurt them in terms of the playoffs. They needed to win to have a chance and continue to move forward. Having a great season, to be able to get that momentum they had early with the win over Virginia Union and not quite being able to hold on to it is going to be something I think they'll think about for a couple of years there. So let's get into those receiving votes. In terms of receiving votes, Edward Waters is still there. Ever win the season, they're sitting at 5-4, 4-3. Big game this week as they get a chance to solidify a winning season, or do they just fall to 500, which would be a huge slide in terms of where they ended the season. We'll see what that looks like. They're sitting at 140 points. Receiving votes. Let's go to the next team receiving votes. Livingstone Blue Bears. They're at 5-4. Tough way to end it for them. They continue to push forward, building on blocks. Stay right at that 500 mark. Can't quite really get a couple of wins there, but if you get another one, they're solid in terms of how they end the season, I would say. Sitting at 3-3 there. And then you have a surprise in there that's quietly getting it done. Florida Memorial, while they sit at just 4-4 overall, they sit at 4-1 in the conference race in the Sunshine. The only NIA program that's been able to have a pretty much a solid season, at least when you think about it from a conference standpoint. So they're in the mix at 4-1, 121 points. Had a couple of teams outside of that that are looking in there, but we'll call it a day when you talk about that. Let's get into the top 7 as we continue to flow through it. At number 7, you have Virginia State Trojans. They sit at 5-3, 4-2. They were not ranked, but they jump in the poll this weekend after being out a couple of weeks. They seem to right the ship. And you talking about playing football, good football at the right time. Now we have a top 7 matchup for that rivalry in Virginia. Virginia State Trojans again improved to 5-3 and 4-2 in the conference race. An outside shot at the CIAA tournament, a little bit more going on there in terms of what that looks like. So we will see that going on. As we continue to chug through it, let's get into number 6. Number 6 is the Fayetteville State Broncos. They fall to 5-4, 5-1. Oddly enough, they remain at number 6 because of the team behind them. Edward Waters lost, and Virginia State is just creeping up into it. So you see that there. Also, moving on to number 5, you have the Kentucky State Thoroughbreds. They are improved to 7-2, 6-1, 161 points. They stay at the 5 position in terms of what they're doing at the year. So you'll see that these teams are pretty solid as we continue to climb. To number 3, you have the Johnson C. Smith sitting at 8-1, 5-1. One first place vote in terms of what they're getting done, 192 points. Staying at the 3 position after a big win. Couldn't climb up even though they defeated the top 17. Did earn a first place vote that they didn't have previous last weekend to give you some indication. Moving up to number 2, you have Virginia Union Panthers that sit at 8-1, 6-0. 3 first place vote as they get it done. So a lot of work there, playing some really good football, putting up big numbers. Interesting, though, they do have a big matchup, and you know how rivalries go, so we'll talk about what that looks like in terms of that matchup. Moving us to the Albany State Golden Rams, 8-1, 7-0. They have 4 first-place votes. It seems that they lost a vote, maybe went to Johnson C. Smith. Not sure if that was the case, but they did lose a vote. They had 5 last week. So the close game did cost them a first-place vote, but not enough to cost them a spot at number 1 with Virginia Union potentially jumping them 206 points. With that being said, you've heard the top 7. Let me review it again since we don't have it showing there. Number 7 is Virginia State Trojans at 5-3, 4-2. Number 6 is Fayetteville State Broncos at 5-4, 5-1. At number 5 is Kentucky State Thoroughbreds at 7-2, 6-1. And number 4, the Benedict Tigers at 8-1, 6-1. Number 3 is the Johnson C. Smith Golden Bulls at 8-1, 5-1, 1 first place vote. And number 2 is Virginia Union Panthers at 8-1, 6-0, 3 first place votes. And the number 1 team for the second consecutive week are the Golden Rams, Albany State, that improves to 8-1, 7-0 with 4 first place votes. Charles, I'm going to go to you first in terms of the top 7. Any concerns, questions in terms of the top 7 for you in week number 9 for the mid-majors?
No questions whatsoever. I think this is the wheat is officially separated from the chaff. So I think these are the top 7, absolutely, with regards to the mid-majors.
Let me ask you this as you kind of think about it. Do you see upset potential in any of these matchups?
I promise
Going
I
down
was
the
sitting
stretch,
here.
or do you think Albany State and Virginia Unions will hold on and we'll have to fight it out in the playoffs? And maybe we get lucky and see them play it around in the playoffs, getting deep in there. Any indication to you?
I was really, I don't know, really sitting here looking at, rivalry week, and I don't know if it's much intrigue for me this week. I just both conferences. I think there's a clear-cut winner with all these matchups.
Good stuff. Let me go to you, Wilton. What are your thoughts on the top 7? Oftentimes you have a little concern with the top 7, whether it's mid-major or major. Did I get it right this week, or are you still saying, hey, man, I need to see a little more here movement? What are your thoughts?
Doc, I think you got it right. I know Mike is gonna call me teacher's pet like he always does, but I definitely think that I definitely think you got it right in the top 7. I think the point I kind of want to mention here is just thinking about this top 4 of Albany State, Virginia Union, Benedict, and Johnson C. Smith. We already know Albany State has sold up one side of the SIAC in terms of like championship aspirations. So considering Benedict and Kentucky State is still in that mix. If I'm not mistaken, Benedict plays Savannah State this weekend, and we know what Savannah State just did this past weekend. And Kentucky State plays Lane. So, obviously games play out how they play. It'll be interesting to see, can Benedict truly go ahead and really, handle business against Savannah State, or will Kentucky State kind of sneak in there after getting a win against Lane?
Go to you, Mike. I'm gonna leave AD for last, or he on punishment right now. Go ahead, Mike.
Yes, Wilton, you are a little teacher's pet. Yes, Dr. Cavil is absolutely correct. Yes, you get a golden apple. So,
he wants a red apple.
I agree with CB. I guess the only question I have, and it's totally out the blue, was I'm looking at it, and what was in week 2 or 3, I believe Virginia Union has a loss to Edward Waters. Am I remembering that correctly? Did Edward Waters start out beating Virginia Union? And where everybody was drinking Edward Waters, what happened at mid-season?
Man, the dude got a contract out of that win.
It did.
So I was like, what happened with that? And then to Wilton's point, I'm like,
he ran in Albany State and Benedict Tigers.
I guess so. He ran into the wrong brick wall. The other thing is, I wouldn't think about this game against Savannah State, but I'm like Wilton. I'm like, should we be worrying about that game as well? So other than that, the poll is, I don't want no golden apple. I don't want to be teacher's pet, but you did get the poll right. You got it right this week. Everybody's right. I don't see anything that really concerns me. Not even the Virginia Union game. So,
to your point, now I think about it, I appreciate that, Mike. Think about it, Edward Waters, they did heck of a schedule when you start thinking about it. They had Virginia Union, Benedict Tigers, Kentucky State, and Albany State. And Benedict and Albany and Kentucky State were on the road. Where was Albany State, AD Drew? What are your thoughts, top 7?
What was Albany State for?
Did Albany State play?
Albany State went to Benedict. Albany State went to Benedict.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So Edward Waters has played 3 of the top 7 currently.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, they did not have Albany State. I'm looking at the schedule right now.
Wow. Yeah, I had to give him a little bit on that now. Yeah, with 2 of those games on the road. Any thoughts with you? Any thought with you, Drew, before we close out this segment?
No, I'm glad Wilton pointed that out because that almost snuck past me, the fact that Savannah State and Benedict had to play this Saturday, which brings up an interesting scenario where, Benedict loses, Kentucky State wins, and Kentucky State is now in the championship game. Kentucky State will be traveling down to Albany. So I think that's going to be good. I would not be looking for a whole lot of points in that Benedict Savannah State game this particular Saturday. If you get 30 combined points in that game, that's going to be exciting.
Yeah, you need to go get your popcorn.
Yeah, you have plenty of time to go get your popcorn in that game because you're not going to miss a touchdown probably.
Good stuff. Let's take our last break, come back on the other side, and talk about some of those matchups in a little more detail.
Football fans, the Cricket Celebration Bowl is celebrating 10 years of crowning an HBCU national champion. A champion will rise at Mercedes-Benz Stadium on December 13th as the MEAC and SWAC champions clash in Atlanta. Join us for championship football, interactive fan experiences, and iconic marching bands. It's an HBCU family reunion that you don't want to miss. See who will be crowned the next HBCU national champion. For event and ticket information, visit thecelebrationbowl.com.
For over 30 years, HBCU Image has been more than just an apparel store. We've been a movement, a state, a legacy. We celebrate the pride, the purpose, and the culture that make historically black colleges and universities legendary. Whether you're a student or a lifelong supporter, our gear lets you wear your HBCU story with confidence and style. Because when you wear HBCU Image, you're not just wearing clothes. You're wearing culture. You're wearing pride. You're wearing purpose. HBCU.
With over 25 years of serving our communities, Destiny Financial Services, a division of Global Life, is here to help you and your family through difficult times. From cancer care to accidental industries to cardiac care, we all know that there are times that you can't control what happens in your life, but you can be prepared to weather the storm when it comes. Call DFS at 877-300-8269 or visit the website at www.globelifeinsurance.com. That is 877-300-8269, or again, the website at www.globelifeinsurance.com.
ESPN Events presents Red Lobster Band of the Year, a title reserved for elite HBCU marching bands. A season-long competition that culminates in Atlanta on Friday, December 12th. Drum majors, percussion, drill, auxiliaries, musicality. All aspects will be examined by the toughest judges in the world of college bands. 4 will qualify for the big stage, where national champions will be crowned. Follow us on social media for rankings updates throughout the season. And join us in Atlanta on December 12th. For event and ticket information, visit bandoftheyear.com.
Compress the analytic data with your hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they wanna lose, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
This is Dr. Cavil with Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington, Charles Bishop, Wilton Jackson, the second and 80, Drew. Let's get into these matchups. The first one is going to be a Fountain City Classic matchup. Rivalries indeed in this matchup. It's number 1 Albany State Golden Rams that are at 8-1, 7-0 versus Fort Valley State. The Wildcats are the official home team. They are 4-5, 4-3, so they have a chance to get to 500. Any of you have a way that you can sell me on the fact that Fort Valley State can get the upset in this matchup?
They just don't score enough. That's an issue.
Yeah.
Offense. They're in the bottom third of the conference in scoring.
I agree with you. I think
Exactly.
that's a tough one. AD, Drew, you gonna sneak in something here that maybe we can?
Fort Valley,
Yeah, all-
winners of 2 in a row, rival game, possibility, not bettability, but possibility.
I like that dude there. Bettability. He's staying away from that. He say he's not putting the house on. Let's go to the next matchup, which is a top 10 matchup, if you would. Actually, top 7. This one is a Virginia matchup. This one was a classic. Virginia State got the upset at the end of the year for a lot of folks, came back and was all but there to grab the trophy in the championship game, but Virginia Union prevails. 2 versus 7. Virginia State is not climbing up the mountain as they are, and they're on the road. Virginia State Trojans at 5-3, 4-2 at Virginia Union Panthers, 8-1, 6-0. 7 versus 2 matchup. Give a chance to all of y'all talk a little bit about this. What are your thoughts on this matchup, Mike? You see anything here to get you excited?
Yeah. Virginia State has, again, they have the score. Yeah. Virginia State has the score. Let's talk about offense. Virginia Union is also number 1 and 2 in offense and defense respectively. But as far as rushing the ball, they're averaging well over 330 yards and ball, but Virginia State is somewhere middle of the pack and stopping the run. So that's data point number 1. Then data point number 2, guess who I'll give you guess who is number 1 in passing? Think about it. Sit on it. No takers. Believe it or not, Virginia State. Yeah, yep. Virginia State is number 1. So can the other data point is, can they do this 278 yards a game in passing against a team that is somewhere down there in 3 and 4 again in defense? So one team really rushes the ball, that's Virginia Union, and they're still a good passing team. They seem to be more balanced, whereas Virginia State seems to be a little bit unbalanced. They're decent pretty good on the passing side and total offense, but on the rushing side, do you make them a one-dimensional game? Either way, I don't see much happening here. My thing is, I'm going to go with the number 2 team, and that number 2 team is Virginia Union. So
Mike did a lot to sell it to not sell it. Charles,
I got your hopes up high, but I was trying. But Virginia Union is just too balanced across the board. I mean, we're not even going to talk about defense and sacks against and things like that. So Virginia Union is way more balanced.
Charles?
Yeah, I think for Virginia State, Rashawn Matthews has to have a huge day. He's coming off of a 4-touchdown passing day last week. But for Virginia State to get this win, they've got to get that offense up and going against this tough Virginia Union defense. And, at the end of the day, it's just way too much Curtis Allen. You got to go with Virginia Union with the win.
Man, Dr. Henry Frazier III can't even pull out his degree on this one because Dr. Parker's on the other side with 1-2.
That's
Wilton,
right.
what are your thoughts?
I got to go with Virginia Union this game. I just think, to Charles' point, like you said, too much Curtis Allen. Virginia Union's averaging close to 46 points per game. The thing is, when you think about a coach like Henry Frazier, you know that I don't necessarily expect Virginia Union to score that many points in this game, but I think that even if they slow them down, if Virginia State is able to slow Virginia Union down, I'm not sure if Virginia State is going to be able to score that many points to hang with Virginia Union. So, and also a key stat to really look at is like both of these teams, when it comes to third down conversions, and Virginia Union has a more of an edge in that particular category, and I'm thinking they'll be able to maintain possessions and hold on to the ball, which will also prevent Virginia State from having as many possessions as they would want in this game. So I got Virginia Union winning this game by at least 2 touchdowns.
2 touchdowns, at least. I like it. AD Drew?
I'm gonna get into this a little bit later, but there would be nothing that would be more pleasing in Petersburg, Virginia, than if Virginia State were to beat Virginia Union and knock Virginia Union out of the championship game. It could happen.
Right.
So I'm just going to leave it right there. We'll talk about it after we get through the rest of these games.
Good stuff. Let's get into the matchup. The next one, we're going to stay in the CIAA. This is going to feature a team that's trying to get into the championship game as well. That's number 9, Livingstone Blue Bears, 5-4, 4-3, winning season just outside the top 7. Versus number 3, Johnson C. Smith Golden Bulls. We talked about their big win over Fayetteville State, which means they improved to 8-1, 5-1. This is 3 versus 9. Drew, talk about this matchup.
Once again, you got a Livingstone team who's looking to finish above 500 overall and in the conference, and a victory in this game would do it. And raise your hand on this panel if you gave Livingstone a chance in hell last year of beating Johnson C. Smith. Take my hand down. So it could happen, but knowing that is out there, I don't see Johnson C. Smith dropping his game because they know what happened to them last year.
Yeah, payback
At home as well too. They got the benefit.
Yeah.
Wilton, any different thoughts there for you? You think Johnson C. Smith, since they got over the first huddle, you think they're racing to a championship game, or are you nervous?
I'm not nervous for them. I think that I was more nervous about them in the game coming this past weekend against Fayetteville State more so than Livingstone. Once I saw that they got past that test, they gave me a more of an air of confidence for them facing Livingstone this weekend. And to Drew's point, when you're a team that you set in this exact same position last year, you don't forget those feelings. You don't forget that moment of what it felt like. So I think that, like I've been saying, Coach Flowers has his guys locked in. I think this is a different Golden Bulls team that's obviously going to get over the hump. And I definitely think they get a win against Livingstone, probably anywhere between a touchdown and 10 points.
Charles,
yeah.
you on this matchup? Can you sell me on the upset?
I can't sell you on the upset. I think it's a little bit too much Kevin Durham and Bobby Smith. If there was no Curtis Allen, we'd be talking Bobby Smith in this conference. So I think Johnson C. Smith has very good balance going into this game, and they have the better defense. They keep you out of the end zone. So I'll take Johnson C. Smith at home. But I will acknowledge the history. I like this. First HBCU game, correct?
Yeah, I was going to get into
Middle College.
Put that out there. Good call.
Versus Livingstone.
A lot of history. At that time, Johnson C. Smith was called Biddle College. Good information. I'm glad you snuck that in. Good job, Charles.
Yeah.
With that being said, Mike, what about you?
No, they have an easier time trying to sell ice to Eskimos.
So all you going to say is that there is a rivalry. It's top 10, but you like Johnson C. Smith.
There's a rivalry there. But yeah, Johnson C. Smith. No, you talked about. Well, who was that? You talked about Curtis Allen. Well, number 2 is Bobby Smith for Johnson C. Smith, and then you got Durham at number 2 in passing. So I think it's Johnson C. Smith. I know history is a keynote, but I don't think it'll be this year.
Yeah.
Sell the shirts, but don't worry about it. Let's look at this one quickly a little bit. This may get a little more interesting. You do have number 4 Benedict Tigers 8-1, 6-1. Savannah State Tigers, they're trying to play. We teased this a little bit, so we don't have to go into too much detail. 4-5, 3-4. It is a fight between the Tigers. Benedict is on the road to Savannah State. They played the number 1 ranked team. Albany State really Albany, as everybody likes to say around those parts. But do you see an upset here? Final call on this? Keep your eye on it, maybe?
Keep your eye on it.
Definitely keep your eye on it.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
If Savannah State can score a defensive touchdown and Benedict does not score a defensive touchdown, this game will be fun.
Yeah.
So we got next one is number 5 Kentucky State at Lane. Shouldn't be a problem here. We will recognize the game that the fact that Kentucky State is sneaking on that door. They would love to see Benedict. They might be doing some scoreboard watching. I don't think it'll hurt them if they do it. All they are on the road, 7-2, 6-1. Lane Dragons is having a season to forget in terms of being 0-9, 0-7, letting it go to coach. he has a little work to do down there. Next matchup is another team that is looking on the outside in. They need major help. That's Winston-Salem State Rams. It is a rivalry game between these teams in North Carolina. Rams have had a 4-5, 2-4 season. Would give a little bump to the season if they can get this done. Number 6 Fayetteville State, 6 at 5-4, 5-1. They want a win at least on a winning note, winning season, and put themselves in at least shouting distance of the championship game, depending on some things going in their favor. Do you see Winston-Salem State with the upset, particularly since they got to go on the road, the way they played all season?
Nope. Nah.
I see the white truck outside Dr. Cavil because they have mailed it in.
Yep. With that being said, I did want to acknowledge the last two. We won't even go through them. You got number 8, Edward Waters at Allen Yellow Jackets. The Tigers are 5-4, 4-3. Important for them to the way they really had a great season. They need this victory to at least have a winning season instead of just being at 500. Allen Yellow Jackets, though, they are at home. They get a chance to fight for a 500 season. So interesting there. Quick thought that you want to share, AD?
Yeah. Allen has a for real run game, especially when you look at let me think what's the running back? Fabian Duncan. I mean, he's been doing a lot for this Allen not Fabian Duncan, I'm sorry. I can't think of the young man's name. Yeah, that is Duncan. Fabian Duncan has got over 1,000 yards already on the season. So nice. A heavy dose of Fabian Duncan could
spell troubles. And you got to believe that the Tigers, a little wounded. So I'm sure they're going to play tough hard there, but emotionally it might be hard for them to get up in the game. So it's fascinating there. Last one, which is the NIA program. So I do want to acknowledge them. They're having a solid season, great season in terms of conference play, stretching out for a conference championship maybe over the next 2 weeks. We'll see what that means. They should get this next game. Florida Memorial at number 10, 4-4, 4-1. They are on the road at Ave Marie. Sun Conference that Ave Marie is just at 2-6, 1-4. So intrigued about that. So keep your eyes to see if Florida Memorial can find a way to get them a Sun Conference championship in football. We'll keep you updated on that over the next couple of weeks in terms of what that looks like. But before we close, I did want to give Drew a chance to kind of talk to the people about some of the scenarios as they're watching these games that we're discussing. What do you understand? Let's start with the CIAA. I think it has a little more things at play. So let's start there first, and then we'll close out with the SIAC.
From what I have gathered, there are 8 different scenarios that could happen in the CIAA that affect the outcome of who's going to be in the championship game. No one is in and no one is out when we talk about Virginia Union, Johnson C. Smith, and Fayetteville State. Now, I'll quickly go through these. Obviously, Virginia Union wins, they're in. That's the end of that scenario. Fayetteville State or Johnson C. Smith lose, they're out. Okay. As long as the other one wins. If one win, the other one loses, the one that loses is out. Now, this is where it gets fun. Union wins, both Johnson C and Fayetteville lose. Johnson C gets in because of the head-to-head. Union loses, Johnson C wins, and Fayetteville wins. You have a 3-way tie at 6-1. Guess who's the odd man out in that scenario?
Virginia Union.
I teased it earlier.
Virginia Union.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
All right.
Yep.
Union loses. Johnson C wins. Fayetteville loses. You have Johnson C and Union. Union loses. Johnson C loses. Fayetteville wins. You've got Fayetteville and Union. And our final possible scenario, Union loses, Johnson C lose, Fayetteville lose. You've got Union, Johnson C.
Gotcha.
Before we go on to the SIC, Wilton, excuse me, what would be your matchup that you prefer to see in the CIAA? It's up to you.
For me, it would be Johnson C. Smith and Virginia Union. I mean, you talk about the two teams we've been talking about all year that pretty much have dominated the CIAA. Maybe a Fayetteville State that will come in as a close third, but I want to see Johnson C. Smith get there, mainly due to the fact of, again, how their season ended last year and how they were just this close of getting there. And I think, again, who wouldn't want to play the champ to be able to potentially be the champion of their conference? So I would definitely want to see those two teams play.
I think CIAA would want those two teams with Virginia Union having a big crowd and Johnson C. Smith being in North Carolina and Charlotte. Charles, you agreed with that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Big Mike, your thoughts on that?
Absolutely. For all the reasons mentioned, those are two teams that dominated all season, and I'm thinking of as well the crowds and the draw as well. But yeah, absolutely.
80 Drew, you have a choice. You answer that since you are in the position you are. We won't ask for the SIC, but CIAA, you have a preferred championship matchup you want to see because of the way it might play out?
Oh, you as a fan, you have to look for Flowers and Coach Dr. Alvin Parker.
I really agree.
But question is, could both these conference championship games be rematches?
Yeah. With that being said, go ahead and get
if you don't want to rematch.
But true.
SIC is a heck of a lot simpler. Obviously, we know Albany State is in. Even if they should happen to lose to Fort Valley and Benedict and Kentucky State win, because they have the head-to-head against both of these institutions. Now, real simple in the SIAC. A win by Benedict and a loss by Kentucky State, Benedict. Win by Kentucky State, loss by Kentucky State, Kentucky State. Should both teams be tied, either both with a win or both with a loss, advantage Benedict, fourth tiebreaker in the SIEC with strength of schedule among conference opponents.
Got it. Good breakdown. Good stuff.
Yes.
Well, you have your notes. You have your cheat code. You see what you're watching as the games go down. And we'll find out on Sunday who actually is playing for a CIAA championship as well as the SIAC championship. We'll find a little bit more in terms of what's going down in terms of the race for the MEACs and SWAC. With that being said, that'll do it for today. Thank you for listening to Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Make sure you share our podcast with your friends and colleagues. We'll talk a little bit more and focus on the major division on Thursday. I'll be traveling. I'll be in the mix, so don't be concerned. I'll be in the airport the way things looking, because I have a late flight, so I'll be able to deliver the show to you on Thursday. With that being said, I am Kenyatta Cavil, the Dean of HBCU Sports, coming from inside the lab in the College of HBCU Sports with Mike Washington, Charles Bishop. Might tease out a matchup or two on the mid-major level, but did a great job with these gentlemen digging into it today. Again, we want to thank you for listening to Dr. Ville's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington, Charles Bishop, every Tuesday and Thursday, as you know, at 6 o'clock Central Standard Time. And on Sunday morning at 9 a.m., I will be doing that probably from the airport as well. That one might be a Nashville airport. We'll see what that looks like. As this week I'm on the road. Charles is on the road. Mike, you're on the road. Wilton, you're on the road. 80 Drew, on the road, or you at home this weekend? Yeah,
cross
that's right.
the street.
You cross the street.
Yep.
Can't really call it on the road. That's not fair, but we will acknowledge.
I don't have own person responsibilities.
I like it. Make it clear. So we look forward to Thursday as we discuss the latest news in the lab. Follow me, Dr. Kenyatta Cavil, on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. We do have a matchup. Texas Southern goes to Montgomery. Jackson goes to Mississippi Valley State. Can those two teams stay tied on the road? But then Cookland to Grambling, some big matchups in the major division. Then you have Prairie View going to Huntsville, Alabama. So it's going to be fascinating to see what that looks like with all those teams I just mentioned are all in the race as you come down the stretch in the SWAC in terms of those teams, top 3 teams in each division. Final 3 weeks should be fascinating in the SWAC to see what happens. Things could clear up real fast this weekend, though. So keep your eyes. We'll have that update one way or the other on Sunday. Inside the HBCU Sports Lab 1 on Facebook. Inside the HBCU Sports Lab on YouTube. Dream big. Continue to move forward. We will talk with you soon. Charles?
Of course.
Mike?
Lecture.
Wilton and AD.
Dismissed.